Good. Well, thank you so much for taking the time after a long day of work to share with
Oh,
us
my pleasure. My pleasure.
your selection, your Ark of Taste ingredient for this Food for Change initiative. We're super excited to learn more about your philosophy. So yeah, please just share with us a little bit the ingredient that you chose and the dish that you're going to be presenting to us today.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for inviting me. And then it's very meaningful event that we spread the word and then share the information and to understand each other. So what I'm gonna feature and then pick up today from the list of Ark of Taste is called shottsuru. Shottsuru is made in mostly in northern and west part of Japan, around the Akita area, and made with two simple ingredients, with the hata-hata, which is called sandfish in English, and the salt. Yeah, sandfish and salt. So the how they are making this shottsuru is that they are piling the fish and cover with a lot of salt, and then fish and salt and make layers. And that gravity pressing down the liquid from the fish, but also breaking down the guts, and then guts has a self-digesting enzyme to make it this fish into the fish sauce. So I think it's pretty much same as the garum you have in Europe.
Garum.
Yeah, or like like Nukumam and Nampla in Southeast Asia. So in Japan we have variety of fish sauce, but it's this shottsuru is made only by only with the hata-hata, the sandfish. So there are various variation of this fish sauce around the world, but I think the what is the most characteristic things of this shottsuru is that just because of the ingredients, the sandfish is very lean fish, not fatty, and then very like subtle. So turning it into the very mild and delicate fish sauce.
Beautiful.
Well, I wouldn't judge if it's good or bad, but I from my personal point of view, this shottsuru is very flexible to any kind of dishes. Sometimes we use it for soup. Sometimes we use it for meat dish and veggie too. But today, I'm going to demonstrate how to use this for the fish too.
Beautiful. And so it's a very umami taste, and as you mentioned, right, the specialty, what makes it particular, so it's hata-hata fish, very lean, that creates a very clean taste, right? That's what I've heard. Beautiful.
Exactly. So.
All right.
Okay,
amazing. So please share about the dish that you're going to be preparing with shottsuru.
So, okay, first of all, I think it's a good idea to building up my plate and then explaining because the Japan is in the northern hemisphere, it's turning into the autumn season. So a variety of autumn seasonal products, and then with the shottsuru, I finished the one plate for you.
Okay, it's beautiful.
So first of all, this is a pumpkin puree, which is in season right now. Then this is bonito. I would talk about the bonito later on, but for the moment, I'm going to cut into the sashimi pieces. Then brush off this shottsuru sauce. A little bit mixture of caramelized honey, actually the forest flower honey, and the red wine vinegar.
Wow, beautiful.
And then brush like this. So I'm not going to use the salt because this shottsuru has a lot of salt in it. So it's pretty much enough amount of sodium. So, and then this is shiso leaves, which is a very characteristic flavor in Japan. And also these are called myoga. which is a Japanese, normally, originally the wild plant, sort of the wild ginger.
Oh, beautiful.
So I'm going to building up the this dish. Like this.
So special. That's absolutely beautiful.
And then finish with some shiso flour. And that pickled myoga ginger. And finish again with that honey shottsuru sauce, like this.
Oh, wow, that's spectacular.
Yeah, this design is sort of a replication of the Japanese current. And it's very beautiful, and everything is seasonal. So we pretty much happy with this.
Wow, that's so much. There's so much poetry also, because I know a little bit about your work, and kind of the aesthetics there are just wonderful with that. And so thank you so much for sharing this dish with us, Chef. And I would love to hear more about why you chose particularly shottsuru as an Ark of Taste ingredient, and also tell us the story of how you select the bonito for this dish.
Sure. First of all, I'm going to talk about this shottsuru sauce again. This is made with the hata-hata, the sandfish, as I explained. And the hata-hata normally live under the very, very deep ocean, and then at the bottom of the ocean. And back in the 60s and 70s, there's a lot of hata-hata all around the Sea of Japan. But of course, as many the mistakes as some other issues, this fish, the hata-hata, has been overfished back in the 80s. So the population and numbers of livestock of the hata-hata dramatically declined, and fishermen couldn't get enough amount of hata-hata for their life. And also, it was endangered and extinct. So fishermen and the fishing association and the science and the researcher got together and then talk about how they can protect this livestock in the ocean. So what they did back in the 90s, early 90s, is that they imposed the self moratorium, means they stopped fishing this hata-hata from 1992 to 1995 for 3 years. And then after the research, the numbers were coming back, but not as many as we used to have back in the 60s and 70s. So they are reaching out to wider, range of people around the coastline. And then they also decided to ban to catch the hata-hata smaller than 15 centimeters. So they again limited their catch. And then after 10 years, around 2000, the researcher told that it's coming back and then a little bit better than 80s and 90s, and then becoming more stable. But what happened next, following situation, was that, of course, the climate change. Because of the seawater temperature rise up, and most of the seawater has been acidified. So this acidification of water make it difficult to grow the plants in the ocean. Plants means, as you know, the Japanese people consume a lot of seaweed like kombu, wakame, hijiki, and nori and other kelps. So we are cautious about these sea plants, the seaweed. Then there's so many, abundance of the seaweed forest. I mean, there's a lot of seabed, which is very, very suitable for spawn the egg of every fishes. So hata-hata normally lives under the really, really deep water. But when they're reproducing, spawning their babies, and eggs, they're coming towards the shallow water at the bed of a rocky coastline, and then they reproduce the babies. But what happened in that shallow water is that just because of the acidification and then desertification of the ocean, this seabed has been dramatically destroyed. So density of the forest has been a little bit smaller and then looser. So the smaller fish cannot hide themselves, and all the fishes cannot bear their egg onto the ocean forest. So the number of smaller fishes decline, and this hata-hata as the numbers of hata-hata dropped dramatically again, and also other bigger fishes cannot find their feed. So most of the bigger fish, like yellowtail, like other bigger fishes, becoming more smaller and smaller. So that's one of the biggest problem around our ocean. And then but still it's not going up and down a little bit, and still not so dangerous situation. But we have to be very, very careful about what's happening inside of the ocean. Not only the numbers of hata-hata, the sandfish, but also all ecosystem, like the food chain of the creatures.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much, Chef, for giving us such depth of knowledge and understanding of your ecosystem, of how the ecosystems of the ocean are under pressure from us humans, right? Decades ago, it was because we were mindless in the amount of fish that we were taking out. We adjusted, right? We are doing research, trying to understand how to respect the life cycle of these small fish. But today we are facing a bigger challenge, which is due to climate change and ocean acidification, these forests of seaweed, the home of these fish, is disappearing. And so I find it fascinating that you are raising awareness through the conscious use of shottsuru, raising awareness about how climate change might eventually make these traditions disappear in the long run if we don't take action now.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
You wanted also to share, we still have a few minutes, and on the choice of bonito fish for this plate.
Thank you for being patient, and
so inspiring.
was a little bit
so
long.
Much.
So I would make it a little bit shorter. So this is bonito, as you see. This fish is normally living in the tropic water, the higher temperature water. So they are basically born and raised around the equator side of the Earth. But when the current and the stream comes up to the Japanese coastline, early springtime, so this bonito wash towards the Japan side, towards the northern side, and then they are searching for more feed. So basically they eat like a small squid and shrimps and then sardines. And because the Japanese ocean nourished Japanese island nourished the ocean, so there's an abundance of and diversity of seafood around the coastline at the Pacific Ocean. So they are basically going up to north And then when the temperature going down in autumn, they're swimming back to south.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the one that we normally use in autumn, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very rich and fatty. So you know, you don't have to do anything, but just sashimi is the greatest choice.
Yes.
Then yes, sometimes the catching the bonito makes some controversy or dispute, just because the family of tuna is extinct, and also this fish is living in the same area. And I don't think everybody knows about this fact, but the canned tuna, like normal canned tuna, is like 80% of canned tuna and worldwide provide is now made with 80% of bonito, so not with like tuna.
Yeah.
So
so we're basically putting a huge pressure by eating canned tuna. It's putting a huge pressure on the species. I absolutely love the fact that you understand so well the movement of these animal species in the oceans depending on the season. So these bonito that you have there actually had a good summer. He ate plentifully, and that's why the taste is also perfect, right? For this particular season. And also, I think you mentioned when we first discussed that this one was done with a particular fishing practice that is very sustainable.
Yeah, exactly. So these canned tuna, canned bonito, has been caught by the net. So the net catching is, in the small space of net, the bonitos washing against each other and then hurting each other, making the bruise. And then, of course, the equator from Japan is totally far away to keep the quality. But this bonito is fished by a single fisherman, by a single rod. And after this, it has been caught, it's going to be very, very carefully treated, and then that keeps the highest quality. So that's the reason why we use this bonito in this season. But if the bonito is not available, we have to notice that something is happening inside of the ocean. So that's this plate it represents through the bonito and then through the hata-hata and the shottsuru. So this is sort of a, of course, the delicious food and seasonal treat, but also the message from the nature, from the ocean.
Oh, thank you so much. That is so beautiful and so inspiring. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who in this life is inspired by your work and your sensibility when it comes to choosing these ingredients and understanding where they come from, right? There's a lot of wisdom in how you speak about these ingredients, and really we can only protect the ecosystems if we understand them, right? And I bet it's an invitation for all of us who cook and who eat to be very mindful and to understand where our ingredients come from, as Chef Namae-san is showing us. Thank you so much for this knowledge. Would you like to share kind of a final word or a message in regards to what you were sharing with us today?
Yeah, well, we are in a very, very difficult, moment right now. That every people in this world, so we have to listen, and we have to take care of each other with the biggest, mindful care. But also, we have to exchange the real information through the scientific proof. So scientific proof is not only the biological scientific proof, but also the social science. Social science has the history and culture, and also the politics and economies and everything all around that. So now the world seems a little bit, like making the bigger gap. But I would like to, share the delicious moment all together, and then through the food or beyond the food, we would discuss our historical background,
Yes.
and what's wrong and what's right, and how we can cope with the situation, and then help each other and understand each other. So I would like to believe in that power of the food.
Oh,
So
thank you so much. This is so
that's my
inspiring,
message.
Chef.